welcome to episode 17 of our Mortal Realms review series. This week we're looking at issue 17, strangely enough, and it comes with the Dreadside Paladins.
They're size for hands.
They're size for hands. They're going into your army, Julia. What do you think?
I think that this looks ridiculous. Okay, I think they're very cool. And creepy because the sides have merged with their bones.
Well, I think creepy is what they're aiming for.
Yeah, I think so, considering they're...
You also get bases.
They're so amazing.
You get 5 of these bases because you get 5 Harridans. The full pack of 10 comes at $27.50 from GW. So the 5 you're getting here is worth at least $13.75, which for $7.99 is actually quite worth it. You're making a reasonably significant saving there. So that's pretty good. There's a lot of detail work with these guys. Actually, not a lot, but the detail work there is really good. Like, they've got the long flowing hair, but they've also got the roses in the hair because they're part of kind of the ongoing theme of Nighthorns. Like a lot of the Nighthorns, they're very thin and very flimsy.
So don't drop them.
So don't drop them. They're going to make amazing models, but again, transporting them and keeping them in one piece is going to be a challenge. Yeah, they're really fantastic models. It's pretty much what we've come to expect from GW and what we've come to expect in terms of quality, particularly from the newer builds. Oh, you've got this psychotic one with 4 sides there.
Wait, what?
That one, it's got 4 sides.
Oh, that's cool. What if you could accidentally chop off its own arm?
They're ethereal, so I don't know. I don't know how ethereal
would all the
weapons...
4 arms get in the way of each other?
I would imagine they'd learn how to use them. Also, with this issue we get this, which is the Forces of Order.
Which is so pretty.
It goes through a lot of the cool things. For example, the Daughters of Cain, which are Dark Elves.
I couldn't see that.
And utterly evil, that are also part of the Forces of Order. You've got the Seraphon, who are also part of the Forces of Order. The Cadron Overlords and the Ironeth Deepkin. Lots of cool, really pretty stuff, and then even more in there, including the silver. Yeah, and again we've got the Sylvaneth there,
which are pretty.
Which are all parts of the Forces of Order, and it's worth knowing. The term for them is the Forces of Order, not the Forces of Good. They're not necessarily good. The Dark Elves are decidedly evil. The Caradron Overlords are all about that dollar bill. The Ironeth Deepkin will steal souls left, right and centre. The Sylvaneth are, operate very much to, the laws of nature, in that they'll eat you and kill you if they need food and they're hungry. The Firestarters there are berserk maniacs. The Seraphon follow the dictates of the stars and the gods, so you don't really know whose side they're gonna turn up on. They have very complex orders. They're kind of the closest thing you can get to Zench on the good guy side. But as I say, because of that, because they're following very complex patterns of order, where A follows B follows C, and other people might not know what those patterns are. They're kind of good guys in and of themselves, but they're not necessarily good guys to a lot of the other good factions, because they may turn up and slaughter a faction of Order or a Storm host simply because they know that at some point the leader of that Storm host is going to fall to chaos or something. It's also because the stars have predicted them and things like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. Right, let's dive into the actual Mortal Realms. First we've got our intro page with,
Kind of reminds me of a teenager.
the eternal Ian, who will never die. And then we have
the Dreadside Harridans, which remind me of teenagers actually.
Which is not unrealistic.
Eyes. long hair, roses, scythe hands.
As we all know, teenagers these days have scythe hands, which has been seen in much of the Troubles recently.
Of course.
Show yours, Julia.
Scythe hands. Oops, I shook the table. I was supposed to avoid shaking the table. I didn't.
Anyway, you've got to read that bit.
All of my teenagers.
Wait, brain.
I knocked it on
The
that
holy
anyway.
faces. No, I shouldn't. Okay, murderous spirits with
Razor?
I've got the giggles. Murderous spirits with razor sharp blades and It started on me.
Murderous spirits with razor sharp blades in place of hands. Dreadside harridans cut through the living, shrieking with unnatural fury as they spill crimson rivers of blood. These spirits are made all the more terrifying by the cruel nature of the curse that afflicts them. Once every 4 weeks. Dreadside harridans were once healers, nurturers, and nurses, all women devoted to easing the suffering and prolonging the life. Their actions drew the intention of Nagash, for any who prevent death are guilty in the eyes of the great necromancer. Such healers have denied him his tally of souls. So did he create a special reward for those who commit such crimes, the dreadful Harridan curse. This hex twisted the offending souls, reshaping into something that was the opposite of what they once were. Where they had healing hands, wicked reaping weapons known as bone scythes appear. They're even called bone scythes. Sorry,
Like bones.
for those of you who play 40k, many of the Gene Stealers, Gaunts, and other Tyranny guys have bone scythes, which look exactly like the bone scythes on the Dreadside Harridans. Hey, I guess if it's not broke, don't fix it. It also goes on, the Harridans are now raging killers. In life, the sight of blood and injuries caused them to feel compassion, now only enrages them. In place of soothing words, they now issue terrified shrieks of rage, fury, and absolute misery. At the front of the Dreadside Harridan packs are slasher crones, the most formidable killers of their kind. They possess an extra set of limbs and are even deadlier than the spirits they lead to war.
So that's the one with
You can see they've been inspired a bit by the Gene Stealers and the Tyrannies, where they've got scythe hands, and the better ones have 4 scythe hands. It goes on to say the Dreadside Harridan, like many Night Haunter, excellent shock troops, they're swift and deadly. It goes on to describe the Harridan curse in more detail. Do you want to read that bit?
Yes, I shall, and I shall not have a laughing fit this time.
Really?
Don't start me. The Harridan curse may be one of Nagash's most cruel punishments. Perhaps the most disturbing thing about the curse is that the minds of its victims are completely intact and fully aware. Most spectres lose any memories of their former lives, but this is not so for the Dreadside Harridans. While they retain their old memories, they can no longer control their actions, so each is aware of and can see the atrocities they commit. Tragically, they can do nothing to stop themselves. They are forced to spend the rest of their existence tortured by their own actions. That's depressing.
Really torture.
And cool. It goes on to describe the bone size. The pale limbs of the Dreadside Harridans do not end in clawed hands as those of other Night Haunts. They do instead possess bone size, razor sharp blades that can cut through flesh and armour and allow the Dreadside Harridan to deal fatal blows with every strike. Next, we've got another bit on Stormcast Eternals. 1,000 Storms. The Stormcast Eternals continue their campaign of vengeance, bringing justice and order to the mortal realms. This one's the description of further battles happening. In Giran, which long stood at the edge of absolute disaster, the Hallowed Knights forged an alliance with the forces of Sylvanet. And it's describing a lot of this. We've got him fighting the Nurgles and Galmaraz.
Nurgles sound like novels.
They do indeed, but they're worse. And then we've got a collection of things that happen kind of in chronological order there. Letting you know the next set of stuff that's happened in kind of the history of the realms from the point of view of the Order faction. And we've got a description there of Galmaraz, which is Sigmar's hammer and used to be like this amazing weapon in the old world. Galmaraz was once wielded by Sigmar himself. With it, he struck down dozens of mighty foes, from great champions of the dark gods to rampaging god beasts. It then goes on to describe how he lost it, how it remained lost, and then it was eventually located by the celestial vindicators, lying in the fortress of a gaunt summoner of Zinch. Vander's hammer hand of the hammers of Sigmar was able to recover the hammer and return it to Azir. There's a lot of hammer in there.
Hammer. It's hammer time.
Kind of their thing, I think, but still, even then, a bit much hammer in that sentence. He returned it to Azir. The weapon is now wielded by Sigmar's greatest champion, the Celestant Prime, the Mac Daddy of Mac Daddies of Daddy Max. Basically, he's poured most of his magic into this, and that's why it's his best guy with his hammer, while he stays at home and doing the planning, the reforging, and making things kind of work back there. Do you want to read these bits? Is that all about you guys?
The Midnight Tomb page. There you go. I read the page.
Do you want to build about Xenia?
Xenia.
Just kind of surmise.
Side facts. Xenia was leader of a circle of Peter Druids who saved many sick people. I'm trying to summarise. She has since fallen victim to the Harrigan curse, and yeah.
And now must spend the rest of eternity tearing walls to ragged shreds.
Yeah. I'm so talented. It's amazing. I make myself cry.
Just look at what I do and do the opposite. Right, next we've got the Ebon Shields, led by Rostar Ebonshield. Sounds like a packet of crisps. Beef flavoured Rostars, now available from McCain. Anyway, Rostar Ebonshield, led by Rostar Ebonshield. This retinue of liberators has earned battle honours during the Realmgate Wars. They were assigned to protect the walls of Lethis as the forces of Lady Orlando sought to breach them. So you've got the two descriptions of some of the main characters there, and you've got a story going from there, and then across the next page, giving you a nice sort of inspirational thing about the battles of Lady Orlando and some of the stuff she's doing. Next, we've got the how to build Dreadside Harridans. I think this one's going to be one definitely worth reading because they're a very delicate build. And if you get it wrong, it's going to be a pain to try and pull things back apart. You've got 2 pages there, which you almost certainly want to keep by. I would imagine there's going to be another set of Dreadside Harridans further on to give you a full unit. We then got the how to paint. Again, as standard, they're using the base of Ceramite White, covered over with Nihilak Oxide, and then Counter Blue and Aladon Black for some of the detailing. So those are the brushes you're going to want. The paints you're going to want. You're going to want to use your dry brush and your base coat and brushes. But there again, we can see painting over white covering blue, and then they decided to give them some blue there and black for their hair. Although in all fairness, as I've seen a lot of people do, you can just leave them the first 2 and then work on some tiny details. Next, we've got a nice little run up to the next battle, the Dreadside Menace. Beneath the surface, the battle for the mausoleum rages, as Xandria Azurebolt battles the Briar Queen for control of the tomb's secrets, and so on and so on. So I'm not going to read all of it because I don't want to take the fun away from you guys. Next, it says get ready for battle. You see you're going to be using a lot of stuff and a lot of models. you've got these stats here for all your guys, and then we're running in roughly the same. Only this time we're using retreat. If you're in a retreat, it can move. It can move within 3 inches of an enemy, but must end the move more than 3 inches from all enemy units. Models in a unit that retreat can't shoot or charge later in the same turn. It's also describing running. Roll a dice and add the result to the unit's move value. Units that run cannot shoot and fly. 9 haunt models are ghostly spectres. We've already gone through fly, but I'll read it anyway. 9 haunt models are ghostly spectres that can fly over terrain and other models when they make any type of move. In case you're wondering why I'm closing one eye, I'm long side in one eye and short side in the other eye. And because I've been having to wear masks at work because I work as a care worker, they steam up my glasses, so I've just foregone wearing my glasses for the past few weeks. It gives me a headache, but no, I can't think of any positives. It just gives me a headache. It's necessary for the job. Anyway, yep, it's going on through the making attack and the basic rules. It's going on through these pieces here. It's showing you. Is it showing you the basic setup yet? I'm sure it shows. Yeah, it's showing you the basic setup on that page. Basically, you're just you're going through the turns, going through the attacking, picking your targets and all that. You got your combat phases and all the stuff.
If you fail your dice roll, you're fucked, basically.
It's the same with everything.
I know, it's so dreadful.
And yeah, it's just basically running through the dead. And one continued. Anyway, let's go. Stormcast turn 1. Combat phase allocating wounds. It doesn't. Some models. Let's actually go through the combat phase. Sorry guys, I'm just looking to see whether it actually goes through when you roll your retreat. It tells you what happens when you retreat. Assume we did rolling retreat last one, one of the previous ones then. And yeah, it basically goes through all the basics of running what is now a reasonable sized battle. It's also going. We've also got the War Scrolls here for 2 more units, which we already have. The Graveblade Stalkers and the Thorns of the Briar Queen. Valkarv the Cruel function the same way as a Dread Warden. The Deathbeat Drummer is a musician rather than it, but still provides benefit to his unit. So you've got more stuff on bits there, so that's pretty cool as well. Yeah, that's it for this magazine. Next week we're going to be looking at new paints, Lead Belcher and Dryad Bark, as you can see there. And then the week after that, it looks like you're getting some heroes for the undead. That's issue 19. You're getting a Spirit of Torment, the Knight of Shrouds, and the Guardian of Souls.
Is it a horse or is it like a...
It's a horse with a guy on it.
Yeah, but it's got its own horns. Or are those from the helmet? I can't tell.
Those are from... Yeah, those have been added to it. Whether or not they're stuck to the back of the thing or the helmet, it wasn't uncommon on the back of horses' heads to have things like horns and other cool things to make them look like terrifying mythical beasts, or even like unicorn horns.
Stab someone. Get stabbed in the horn.
Unicorns, shiv-faced murder ponies. So, you looking forward to those?
Yes.
So that's looking pretty cool, and hopefully we'll get on to doing some sticking together at some point. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hope to see you guys either next week or in 2 weeks' time, depending on when Hatchet shift their schedule back. I'd imagine it's still going to be every 2 weeks for a while now, because they're pretty far from essential. So they've got they're still probably under most of the standard rules. See you guys later, and hope you guys have good fun. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Not sure why, but I am. So if you like it, see me there, and please tell your friends. Thanks very much. Bye.